Now to our Kindness 101 series, where Steve Hartman and his kids share stories built around kindness and character and the people who have mastered those qualities. So what's today's lesson? It's imagination. That's why we played that song. This week, we revisit the story of a first grade class who used their imagination to take a very exciting field trip without ever leaving their classroom.
Good morning. This is Merrill.
And this is our word of the day, imagination.
Emmett, definition please.
Imagination is the ability to come up with pictures or ideas using nothing but your mind.
So you can't see it, you can't feel it, but it's still there.
Yeah.
You know, when I was little, I had a Superman costume. And when I put that on and went outside and run, I could circle the whole globe in like a second. Has your imagination ever taken you places?
Well, when I was little, we used to play this game when you were driving, where we would pretend that Jack Frost from the fairy books I used to read was chasing us.
We did.
And you would swerve on the road, and now I realize that was probably pretty dangerous, but
it was a very gentle swerve, but I had to get away from Jack Frost.
I don't know how you're going to explain to the cops that Jack Frost is chasing you.
That's great. But imagination isn't just child's play. As we get older, it fuels our creativity and helps us solve problems. So parents and teachers need to help us grow our imagination. Like the teacher in this story, my role model for fostering imagination.
You may walk to recess.
At the Trinity Leadership School near Dallas, Sonia White's first graders were flying high.
Come all the way back and walk.
Still reliving their amazing one-day field trip south of the border.
Where are you going?
Mexico.
To Mexico? I love your outfit.
It was my first time on a plane. We went inside a cloud. I saw the ocean.
Is that your first time seeing the ocean? Mm-hmm. At this point, you've got to be wondering, how could a school afford this? What kind of teacher does it take to fly a class of first graders to Mexico for a day? A very clever one. So just to be clear, you did not go to Mexico.
We did not.
You did not get on a plane.
We did not.
You never left the class.
We did not.
What you're about to see is a testament to the power of imagination and the magic teachers have to harness it.
Okay, let's find out.
After Sonia's students told her their one wish was to fly on a plane, she went full throttle on the pretend.
Your boarding pass and your passport, please.
Created travel documents for each child, and then boarded them on their flight to Mexico.
Okay, guys, we are now at 13,000 feet. You may take out a snack.
We had a little turbulence. Well, it did not scare me. But my friend Lorenzo had a rough landing.
Really? What happened to him?
He was like...
The buy-in really was remarkable.
One of my students saw somebody that night and they said, "What are you doing here? I thought you were in Mexico." And he said, "Yeah, we were. We got back at 3. And that's when I was like, they really think we went to Mexico. I'm writing you from Mexico.
Teachers everywhere could use more resources. But the best always seem to figure out a way to take kids places. Often without so much as a bus ride.
Did this fuel your desire for more travel?
Yes. Do you know North Korea?
Yeah, sure.
Probably I do not want to go there next.
I guess even pretend flights come with travel warnings.
Yes.
Sonia White joins us now. Hello, welcome to our classroom.
Hi.
So I heard that Southwest Airlines reached out to you.
They invited my class there to take a tour, to actually get on a plane. Welcome aboard. The plane didn't take off, but they did sit down and they were served a snack and a drink like we were in flight.
Did your kids go on any other trips, either figuratively or literally?
They did. During Black History Month, we went to Nigeria.
And what'd you do when you got to Nigeria?
In Nigeria, we went to a safari and then we had African food.
Do you ever still pretend, even when you're not with your class?
I pretended actually the other day that I was married to an NFL coach and I was going to a Cowboys game. But my husband definitely works for the post office.
That's great. That's great for everybody but your husband.
Right.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You know, this lesson just gave me an idea. We have a lake vacation planned this summer, but maybe we could just pretend to go instead. Or maybe you could just pretend that I'm funny. We'll see you next time.
Until then, stay kind.
Oh my gosh.
Kids are like, we're going to the lake, Dad.
That's right.
I love that.
Oh, I love this story
White,
so
you
much.
go.
Great teacher. What a wonderful
Sonia White. I like how she also, in her adulthood, is still imagining,
Yes.
using her imagination. I think it's
As we all do.
do we?
Really? You don't have thoughts like that, Vlad? Carried away by an NFL player?
No, I do. Yes, we do use our imagination at all points throughout the day and throughout our lives. But I just love how you fuel that imagination as a teacher when you're a young child. Now, the lessons that Sonia White is teaching these kids will last for a life.
But part of how she continues to connect is to be a kid on some level herself, which we all should retain.
Exactly right. But how about the kid saying some people had a rough landing?
Rough landing.
Expression.
I also like
loved
when
it.
Steve is talking to them and he's very serious when she's like, maybe North Korea. He's like,
I love
Maybe not. Maybe not.
We love you, Steve.
That our Kindness 101 series where Steve Hartman and his children share stories built around kindness and character as well, and the people who embody and have mastered those qualities. Today's lesson, resilience. We all need a little bit of that. We're going to revisit the story of a young man born without hands and without feet who nonetheless dreamed of becoming a pilot. Despite those many obstacles, Zach Anglin never took no for an answer.
Hello, you know Meryl.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our lesson on resilience.
Emmett, how are you going to define resilience?
I'm going to say resilience is the ability to bounce back from failure.
That's good. Or I might even say it's like embracing failure.
But who wants to fail?
Well, no one really. But when you do fail, you need to look at it not so much as a roadblock, but more like a stepping stone to success. It'll make more sense when you see this story. This is one pulled from our library of stories past, filed under resilience.
Although born without hands or feet, 25-year-old Zach Anglin says the only limbs he ever longed for were wings. Always wanted to be a pilot. Unfortunately, no quad amputee had ever become a commercial pilot.
Obviously, nothing worth having comes easy.
From the time he was born, he was a disciplined and determined child.
Adoptive parents Harold and Patty say there was no talking him out of it. So when Zach turned 18, he applied to a flight school that said no.
There's nothing we can really do for you, we're sorry.
The second one said the same.
Like, here we go again.
As did the third.
The same response.
And so it went, more than a dozen times over.
You're not hearing what they're saying.
I'm not. Selective hearing. My wife will tell you I'm a little bit hard-headed.
Which is why this hard-headed husband and soft-hearted father applied to one more school, the Spartan College of Aeronautics in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They said yes, although Zach's struggle was just getting started.
He still needed approval from the Federal Aviation Administration to take the lessons. But the FAA repeatedly, and in no uncertain terms, denied his request. And after the 5th rejection letter, Zach finally gave up.
I was like, this is not for me. This is impossible to do. And so my mom was over my shoulder at this point, right? And then she's like, you're not done yet.
I said, you can never succeed until you've learned to fail.
And Patty says her son obviously hadn't failed enough. So Zach kept at it until finally they cleared him for one takeoff. And when Zach was given the opportunity to show his potential, it became clear as blue sky that you don't need hands to have wings. Zach graduated from flight school a few years ago and now teaches the same course so many told him he couldn't even take.
Nautical miles.
Why do people need to hear this?
Because my story isn't just for amputees. We all go through trials and tribulations. The word impossible is an illusion behind the word possible.
And failure, just the turbulence on your journey.
Zach Anglin joins us now. Zach, welcome to Kindness 101.
Thank you guys for having me.
Are you still flying and teaching?
Yes, ma'am. Still having a lot of fun doing it. It's a lot of work, but it's such a privilege to do. So
When you failed at something repeatedly, how do you avoid getting down on yourself?
it took a village, and I think I told Steve this some time ago. And that village is my family, my faith, and then the people around me to go ahead and make things possible for myself.
Do you have any suggestions for how we can be more resilient?
Make a goal, write it down, say it out loud in the morning, talk to somebody that's done it, and just take a little bit of time every day to go ahead and work towards that goal.
Big goals are just little goals piled up.
Yup, little things lead to big things.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate you guys as well. Thank you.
You know, we all fail from time to time, but it doesn't make us failures. It makes us human. And if you have resilience, eventually those failures will become the wings you fly on. We'll see you next time.
And don't forget to stay kind.
It's beautiful.
Fire you up to get into the weekend. I mean, 12 schools rejected him. FAA says no 5 times, and here he is.
The self-belief and then the support from the parents also really got me.
Yeah.
How his mother was like, you cannot succeed until you learn to fail. You're not done yet.
Yeah.
How
Oh
could you ever think of quitting anything when you have that man as an example out in the world?
Yes.
Exactly. And to Steve Hartman's kids, you're not quitting Kindness 101. I need you to do this well into your 30s.
Yes, exactly.
Because we just love seeing you.
It's so
even
great to
as
see
you
them
age a
growing
little
up.
bit.
I know, they're getting older.
Growing up and right in front of our eyes. Now to our Kindness 101 series. This week, Steve, Meryl, and Emmett. They tell us about a nurse whose life changed forever when a patient asked for an unexpected favor. It's a lesson in mercy.
Good morning. I'm with Meryl.
And I'm here with our word of the day, mercy.
Emmett, how are you defining mercy?
I'm going to define mercy as like giving relief to someone who is suffering.
So it's kind of like compassion.
Yeah, you can make that comparison.
But it's compassion almost to the point of being divine.
You know someone like that?
I do, and soon you will too. After you see this story, pulled from our library of stories past, filed under mercy.
Tricia Summers swore she met an angel. It happened not long after she was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer and admitted to Pinnacle Health Hospital in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. She was recovering from a procedure here when in walked a nurse.
Before she even said anything, I just felt comfort. It's almost like somebody just put like a warm blanket on me.
That's quite a nurse.
Yes, I've never felt anything like that before or any other connection with anybody else.
This is that angel.
I really enjoy the job. I like it a lot. Aww.
Her name is Tricia too, Tricia Seaman. Over the years, she has been praised by many, but no patient has ever given her a greater compliment than Tricia Summers did.
Okay.
The single mom with an 8-year-old son named Wesley had just found out her cancer was terminal.
You know, what do you say to somebody? She's 45 years old. So I just gave her a hug and she said, I have something that I need to ask you.
I blurted it out.
What did you say?
Can you take my son? Will you raise him if I die?
You didn't know her that well.
Mm-mm. She was a stranger.
Tricia says she had no other family to turn to, which is why she asked her nurse, who, after consulting with her family, agreed.
Not only to take in Wesley, but his mom too.
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good.
Mwah.
Without the generosity of this family, Tricia Summers would have had to spend her final days in a nursing home, and who knows what would have happened to her son.
They needed to be together.
That's more than she asked you for, though.
It is, but that's what we're supposed to do. More than we're asked.
Are you talking as a nurse or as just a person?
Both. Both.
It's been 11 years since we first told that story. Wesley's mom has since died, but the mercy continues. Joining us now, Tricia Seaman and Wesley. Welcome.
Nice to see you guys.
Wesley, how old are you now?
I am 19 years old.
Tricia, you've seen him grow up now. You've taught him how to drive. How'd that go?
Very good. We don't ride together anymore.
You don't trust him, or?
I do. He goes just a tad faster than what I like, but he has turned into such a fine young man, and his mom would be incredibly proud.
Wesley, what do you think she saw in your now adoptive mother?
You meet her and you just automatically know that she just has a caring spirit and she's a one-of-a-kind nurse.
Are you in college now?
I am in college, yes.
What are you studying?
Well, I'm thinking about nursing, funny enough, but...
He will do amazing.
Because he was raised by angels.
Aww.
All right. Thank you both for joining us. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Take care,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
You know, you can be kind to anyone, and it's all good. But when you're kind and compassionate to someone who's suffering and in desperate need, that is mercy. And it's the best kind of kindness of all. We'll see you next time.
And don't forget to stay kind.
Now to our Kindness 101 series where Steve Hartman and his kids share stories built around kindness and character. Today's lesson is honor. We revisit a story of siblings who came up with a unique way to celebrate their late father.
Good morning. I'm Steve.
And I'm Meryl. Today we're going to be talking about what it means to honor someone.
And we begin, as always, with Emmett at the dictionary desk. Emmett?
For this class, I'm going to say that honor is paying tribute to someone who has passed away with a meaningful act or gesture.
And what are some ways that we can honor someone?
By carrying on something that they were trying to do in their lifetime.
That's good.
Trying to make sure that their legacy is not forgotten.
Yeah, the point is to just keep their memory alive. And it doesn't matter how. As you'll see in this story, pulled from our library, about honor and oranges.
All you want is a nice, peaceful breakfast. So you slice open an orange or grapefruit and get ready to attack it with a spoon. Only to have it attack you back, right in the eye. The phenomenon is well documented in pop culture.
Ow, you squirted me!
But did you know there's a word for what your citrus does to you?
You get sprayed in the eye and you go, oh, it orbisculated.
It, or what?
Oh, it orbisculated.
Brother and sister Jonathan and Hillary Krieger of Boston say they picked up that word from their father.
As a child, you learn words because your parents use them, and then you start using them, and you don't kind of question, is it a real word?
Until you're thumbing through a dictionary one day and find there, between orb and orbit, nothing.
And I said, Dad, what's wrong with this dictionary? Orbisculate isn't in it. And he said, well, maybe orbisculate.
I might have made it up.
I might have made this word up.
The Kriegers laughed about that for years. Laughed until they cried. A few years ago, Jonathan and Hillary's dad, Neil, died of COVID. And in the days after his passing, that orbisculate story is one of the few things that still brought a smile, which gave the kids an idea.
It felt like a very nice way to honor someone at a time where there's not a lot of positive things going on.
What they did was launch a campaign to get orbisculate into the dictionary.
Right.
Started with a list of 78 goals, like get the word in a crossword puzzle. Check. Temporarily tattooed on someone's body. Check. In a child's chalk drawing. Check. In a petri dish of phosphorescent bacteria. Surprisingly, check. In a news story.
Check.
Someone even put it on a sign at a grocery store. Warning, strong possibility of orbisculation. Words with Friends added it to their game. This woman wrote it into a song.
And that fruit orbisculated right into my eye.
Of course, getting orbisculate entrenched into our vernacular will be the challenge. But Jonathan and Hillary are determined to see this through.
And that would be something our dad would really love.
Definitely.
And you don't need a dictionary to see the meaning of that.
Hillary Krieger joins us now. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be with you.
Since the story first aired, have you checked off any more uses of orbisculate?
Yes, it's catching on and especially resonating with teachers, and they're teaching it to their classes. And that's so important because it means the next generation will have the word and it will live on through them.
I understand that one of the Kindness 101 classrooms is promoting Orbisculate. Can you tell us more about that?
Southeastern Elementary School in Indiana, they have gone above and beyond our wildest dreams and actually created an annual Orbisculate celebration day. And it's just wonderful to see how the word has been exciting for teachers and for students.
Do you think Orbisculate will ever get into the dictionary?
I definitely believe that Orbisculate will get into the dictionary. It's a long, long process, but it will happen.
Well, I can tell you that Orbisculate is embedded into our vocabulary in this family. And I thank you for giving us the word and for giving us your time today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's important to honor your ancestors, but you don't have to come up with a new word to do that. All you have to do is live your life by that word. And you honor all those who came before. We'll see you next time.
And don't forget to stay kind.
Very happy to say Kindness 101 is back on CBS Mornings this fall. Steve Hartman and his kids, Meryl and Emmett, will share more stories built around kindness and character and the people who have mastered those qualities. Today's lesson, recognition. We revisit the story of custodian Claudine Wilson, whose dedication to one Missouri elementary school earned her a touching honor.
Hello, everyone. You know Meryl.
Good morning, and welcome to our lesson on recognition.
Emmett, definition, please.
Recognition is awarding someone for what they've done, whether it be through kind words or some other nod.
Before class, I took a look around your rooms, and I saw all sorts of trophies and certificates and medals. Just wondering, why do we treasure those so?
Because it feels good to have a symbol of something you won and makes you look cool.
It's a flex.
Obviously, recognition builds self-esteem, but we don't always recognize the people who deserve it most, which is why I want you to see this story. Pulled from our library, filed under recognition.
When folks in Swedberg, Missouri decided to name their elementary school building, everyone knew it had to be named after someone truly special.
You have your name on a building, that's huge.
It has to be someone that you just know would be right. That makes you think of when you think of good.
Throughout history, there have been many national figures who fit that bill. Also, lots of famous Missourians who would have been great choices to celebrate and inspire. But in the end, they went with Claudine Wilson. Who is that, you ask? You wouldn't believe. Meet school custodian Claudine Wilson.
You can get her like a vacuum and she'll appreciate it because she really likes cleaning.
Yeah, she's like in the zone. She focuses.
And she's just really dedicated herself to this school.
So much so that over the past 30 years, she has taken on a busload of additional responsibilities.
Morning.
From transportation coordination.
How are you guys today?
To lunch duty, to landscaping.
And what's your motivation for doing all that?
The kids at your heart.
That's what makes Claudine what she is.
School board president Chuck Boren.
These kids get sick. You think they go to the nurse to start with? They go to her. If they had a bad night, they go to her. I mean, and she's there for each and every one of them.
And all that is why the school board voted unanimously for the new name. And why today, there's really only one person in this whole community who remains unconvinced that Claudine deserves this honor. Claudine.
It touches your heart, but I don't think my name needs to be up on a building somewhere.
So we'll add humility to one of the reasons why you should be up there.
In America, building names often inspire greatness.
You done a good job this morning.
And Swedberg, Missouri is no exception. They just define greatness a little differently.
Would you want to be like her?
Yeah.
That's what everybody should want to be, you know? That's what I would want to be.
Joining us now, the one and only Claudine Wilson. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
What did you think when you first saw your name on that school?
I didn't know how to respond. And I said, really, you spent that much time to put my name on a building, really?
It sounds like you're still not embracing the idea.
Still not.
I understand that you're now retired.
Yes.
How are you spending your retirement?
Working and busy.
So you're still going back to the school?
Yep. I said I would help them anytime they needed me.
That's you.
That's me.
Claudine, thanks so much for talking with us today.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you all.
Recognition can make humble people uncomfortable, but we all need to be reminded sometimes that we're doing a good job. And that's why I'm going to take this opportunity to recognize you both for recognizing the importance of recognition.
Will you also put our names up on the house?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Absolutely not.
Well, that's a wonderful Kindness 101. Allow us to recognize the authors of that very fine story. Steve, Meryl, and Emmett joining us in studio. It's so great to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Meryl, Emmett, first time back in studio to visit since, I think, 2022. How you feeling? What's it like to be back?
I mean, it's been a long time, but it's really fun to be up here with you guys.
Yeah. Are you pretty famous now? I mean, these go far and wide. They're in curriculums. They do incredibly well online. Millions of people tune in live. Do you get recognized?
He gets recognized, and then we come up behind him, and everyone's like, "Oh, and there you are too."
Wow. And remember, you got recognized once on the water slide. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
We were on vacation, and there was a water park. And so I was going down the water slide, and the water slide led into the lazy river. And some kid came up to me, and he goes, "Oh, you're that guy that does Kindness 101 with your grandpa." And I said,
The hair is great.
With your grandpa, what did you say, Meryl?
I said, "Oh, that's my dad."
That's actually, but guys, it's been 5 years. Number one, it's so fun to see the growth of you, looking from when you first started. Pretty soon, you're not even going to be able to fit at that desk, Emmett. And the same with you, Meryl. But I wonder, in the past 5 years, what impact, what effect it's had on you? Is it something you talk about with your friends?
I mean, I look back to when we started Kindness 101, and it's just crazy to think about how different of a person I was then compared to now. Like with each episode, you gain, aside from learning all the words, you gain a little more perspective on the world.
Yes.
And so I'm very grateful for my dad to have given me this, and my sister this experience.
Yeah, well, we're grateful for all of you. Steve, I want to talk about your documentary, All the Empty Rooms. It was just picked up and bought by Netflix, I believe.
That's correct.
You know, how do you feel that that is going to reach a much wider audience now?
Well, you know, this is about, we're documenting the bedrooms of kids that were lost in school shootings. And that whole issue, sometimes it seems like we're stuck with solving that problem. And I'm hoping that this documentary kind of reframes the conversation and allows us to maybe start fresh. And the film has no agenda whatsoever except for empathy. It's just trying to
Mission
restore
accomplished.
empathy.
Nate, I've seen it. I can't wait for everybody to see this.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
It's a type of thing that makes you think about other things, because all kids have rooms, and to see a moment in time, it's very, very powerful. I want to end, though, on recognition, because what I just said about Klaus, you know, Klaus, it's good to see you. Klaus is back. And Jared, who does our jib, somebody get a camera shot of Jared. Because as I was walking out, he goes, "Gayle, I'm back too." Can we please recognize Jared?
That's where he is.
Jared is back too.
Welcome back, Jared.
Recognition.
You know what, we should also recognize, while Steve is here, that
Yes.
he is also terrified of dancing publicly. He
Are
shares
you?
my phobias.
Just
I
don't
hope you
make me
mind.
dance right now.
I was like, no, they're not gonna play any music, but he is my,
Oh, that was my favorite piece I've ever seen on this show.
Tony Really?
Because I
Tony
could so
Dan-
relate to the dancing and the fear.
It's great to have you here.
listen.
We will not. Not even with the shoulders.
Steve and Meryl, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Sincerely. We will be right back. Stick around.
Now to our series, Kindness 101, where Steve Hartman and his wonderful children share stories built around kindness and character and the people who have mastered those qualities. Today's lesson is dedication. We revisited the story of one family practitioner in Baltimore who goes above and beyond for his patients. They call him Dr. Z. And when he was diagnosed with cancer, his community repaid his kindness in spades.
Good morning. I'm Steve.
And I'm Meryl. And this is our lesson on dedication.
Starting now with Emmett at the dictionary desk.
Dedication is first believing that something is very important.
and then giving it your all.
So you can't be sort of dedicated to something.
No, you can't. It is a full-throated commitment, but it can produce amazing results. As you'll see in this story, pulled from our library of stories past, filed under dedication.
In one of Baltimore's poorest neighborhoods, we found one of its richest doctors. Rich, not in money. In fact, he's pretty much broke.
Alrighty.
But 66-year-old family doctor Michael Zollicoffer is flush with job satisfaction.
Just love people. I love to see a rash. If you say you got a rash, I'm gonna find you because I love a bump on your head. You see what I'm saying to you? I have
No,
got
not
to,
really.
I love a bump.
Has anybody taken your temperature?
No. Let's listen to my sweetie.
That infectious spirit is part of what sets him apart. Another is his prices. Can't pay? That's okay.
You make everything sound so easy.
It is easy. Forget that dollar bill. Now, I'm gonna see you no matter what. You walk in that door, you will be seen. You bring your grandma with you. I'm gonna see her too. Okay.
But here's what amazed us even more. In the nearly 40 years Dr. Z has been practicing,
that one's good.
He's never taken a real vacation.
I think you'll live.
Tells every patient they can call him 24/7, 365.
There you go.
I have his cell phone number.
Does everybody have his cell phone?
Yeah.
He's always available.
This guy seems almost unbelievable.
He is unbelievable because you'll never meet another person like him ever.
A superhero, but hardly invincible. A few months ago, Dr. Z was diagnosed with cancer.
So I got 2 separate cancers. One renal, one rectal. But I don't give up.
And to add insult to injury, Dr. Z didn't have insurance. There was a whole series of snafus, but bottom line is he had no way to pay for his radiation treatments. Until his patients turned the tables on that ever-giving doctor.
I'm like, let's fight. What can we do?
Dr. Z will not give up on you, so we damn sure ain't giving up on him.
Whatever needs to be done to save Dr. Z, we're going to do it collectively.
So, collectively, they started a crowdfunding campaign. Nearly 1,000 people donated, raising more than $100,000. Today, his prognosis is good.
Right.
He got his insurance back and now plans to funnel any money left over back into the community.
Open that mouth up. You know what? I'm gonna say something may seem crazy as heck. I'm thankful that I got cancer. Because I am the happiest man on the planet, no matter what the outcome. What we have shown and why we sitting in this table right now to show America, this is what you're about. We about giving. I can't make it without them. And nor can they make it without me.
You need each other.
Let this nation hear this story. Let it hear this story.
Dedicated Dr. Z joins us now. Welcome.
How you doing?
We're doing great.
How are you feeling, like health-wise?
You know, if anybody could get a cancer diagnosis and feel this well, I'll take it every time.
Do you really enjoy looking at bumps on people's heads?
Yeah, I love that bump on that head. Like I told you, Dad.
Do you ever just go up to people, you see them walking in the mall or something and say, hey, can I look at that rash?
That's what I feel like doing, but I don't go that far.
My dad told us that you help train other doctors. What do you teach them about dedication?
So I teach them health is more than just illness. It's about dedication to people, dedication to giving.
What would it take for you to go on a vacation and turn your phone off?
I don't think it's possible. My patients got to come with me. The love has got to come with me. I love it too much, man.
Dr. Z, you're such a joy and such a blessing. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Always. And what you guys are doing for the betterment and the kindness is just second to none. You don't stop it. The world needs it.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right.
Dr. Z has gone all in on kindness, devoted his whole life to helping others. Do that, and you may not make much money, but you'll definitely have riches.
Let this nation hear the story.
Yeah. We'll see you next time.
And don't forget to stay kind.
Oh, come on.
Emmett and Meryl.
That little note at the end, let this nation hear this story. Come on, it doesn't get any better than
Dr.
that.
Z, so much of our time is spent trying to make sure people can't reach us, and he's just concerned with always being reachable so we can be there for those patients.
Couldn't have said it better, Tony. Good stuff.
This week's edition of Kindness 101. Steve Hartman and his children share stories built around kindness and character and the people who have mastered those qualities. Today's lesson is about grief. We revisit the story of the Shopper family. Take a look at these 3 young kids and how they found a positive way to grieve after losing their beloved family pet.
Good morning. I'm here with Meryl.
And this is our lesson on coping with grief.
Obviously a more serious subject today.
Yeah, but we still start as we always do with Emmett at the dictionary desk.
Good morning. I'm defining grief as like the sadness that you feel after losing a loved one or someone really close to you.
And this isn't really something you guys know a whole lot about, fortunately.
Yeah. I mean, aside from losing a few fish, I don't really have any experience of grief.
Well, that's not nothing. For a lot of kids, I think losing a pet is their first taste of grief. And it's a bitter taste, no doubt, but it's also a life lesson. As you'll see in this story, best example I've found for how to handle grief.
The giggles are slowly returning to the Shopper family of Charlotte, North Carolina, 2 months after the saddest moment of their young lives.
Turtle.
The loss of their dog, Turtle.
You're mad at life, you're mad at God for allowing that, right? He was more than just a pet, he was family.
Clay, Ruby, and Maeve adored that dog. He was their pillow and comforter, their forever photobomb and omnipresent smile maker. Which is why, when he died from a spinal condition, the kids asked their mom, Nikki, if there was anything they could do to stop their pain.
And I didn't have anything to say, you know, because when you're in it, when you're really deep in it, it feels like it will never end.
For many kids, losing a pet is grief 101, their first taste of that most bitter heartache. And although there is no one right way to process grief, when Turtle died, these kids thought the most important thing would be to not grieve alone.
So they planned a celebration of life and invited all their neighbors, both 2-legged and 4.
So we just decided that could help us.
Yeah, he wrote dogs welcome, humans tolerated.
On the invitations, yeah.
Because just sitting in a house with no dogs or anything, just sitting there, it's not that fun.
The service was back in March. There were dogs, lots of dogs, and of course, a eulogy.
As much as I know it hurts us all, we have to remember that he is in a better place now.
It helped them feel like they weren't alone in the pain.
A month later, the kids got a new puppy named Cody and a message for any child or adult struggling with the loss of any pet or person.
Don't try to ignore the pain. Try to bring in the pain full force. Because if you keep those emotions locked up inside, those emotions never go away. You just have to let it go.
Good advice from a kid already wise beyond his dog years.
Clay Shopper joins us now. Welcome to our classroom.
Hello. You talked about the importance of letting go. Were you not worried about getting emotional in front of all those people at the funeral?
No, I wasn't really worried about that at all because, like, if you feel that way and you show yourself that way in front of other people, I think it can help you overcome your grief.
Seems like you also had a lot of fun at the funeral. Do you think joy plays a role in overcoming grief?
Yes, because it allows you to realize that even after you've lost, there's still meaning to life.
How is Cody doing?
She's doing great.
Can we see Cody?
Yeah, sure. Hey, Mom.
Oh. Stop.
Well, sorry for your loss, but happy for your gain. Clay, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
You know, no one ever wants to feel grief, but that doesn't mean it should be avoided. In fact, feeling that sorrow is what opens the door to better days ahead. We'll see you next time.
And don't forget to stay kind.
Steve Hartman does it again. I'm just blown away. Listening to that story that Steve was telling us just reminded me again of one of my favorite books of all time, Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, where he says that life always has the potential for meaning, even in moments of tragedy. We have agency in how we react to tragedy and to grief, and in doing so allows us to fulfill a better life.
And how little Clay said, don't block out the grief, let it in full force. 100%. And he's so young and so wise, like Steve said.
Basically, our whole society is built on distracting us from things we don't want to think about, and Clay's wise in saying, no, you have to think about this. You got to feel it.
Yeah. And what about Steve Hartman? No one better than Steve at telling these types of stories.
We turn now to Kindness 101, where Steve Hartman and his children share stories built around kindness and character and the people who have mastered those qualities. Today's lesson is about what the Hartmans call dominoing. They revisit now the story of how one man's efforts to help others sparked a chain reaction of good deeds.
Good morning, everyone. This is Merrill, and this may be our most unusual lesson ever.
For sure, and we're calling it dominoing.
And to see what dominoes have to do with kindness, just follow this trail of dominoing dictionaries to Emmett.
Good morning. Dominoing is basically a chain reaction. It's what happens when one action triggers many others.
Like a ripple effect?
Exactly. And it doesn't just apply to dominoes. It applies to good deeds as well. As you'll see in this story, pulled from our library about an anonymous good deed that dominoed.
If you need your faith in humanity restored, the pharmacy in Geraldine, Alabama has just the medicine. A story of kindness that began more than a decade ago when a man walked in and asked to speak with pharmacist Brooke Walker.
So I assumed that he needed counseled on a medication. And that's when he said, do you ever have anybody that can't pay for their medicine?
Brooke said, all the time.
And he said, next time that happens, I want you to use this.
He handed her a $100 bill, the first of many $100 bills he would donate, anonymously, to help those in Geraldine who can't afford their prescriptions. People like Bree Sloggeter.
To be honest, I was desperate. I was like, what am I going to do? I was defeated. And she said, it's taken care of. And I said, how?
No one in Geraldine knew how. No one knew who. Until the donor died and the story came out. His name? Hody Childress, an Air Force veteran and farmer. These are his children, Doug and Tanya.
So when you heard of this secret, were you surprised?
No. He was not a wealthy man, but he was probably the richest man on earth with his heart.
Yes, he would say he's building up his riches for eternity, not for here.
In fact, they say Hody was near broke after spending more than $10,000 on other people's prescriptions.
The high cost of prescription drugs is a problem that extends well beyond rural Alabama, and a humble farmer can only do so much to fix it. But, as is often the case with kindness, sometimes a small deed can start a monumental movement.
Are you aware of what's going on?
Oh, we're aware. It's global. And it's just blown our mind.
That one small act makes a difference.
Proof of that now shows up every day in the pharmacy mailbox. Folks either donating to keep the fund going in Geraldine or pledging to start a fund at their pharmacy. Doug and Tanya say that generosity doesn't take away their pain.
Sure do miss you, Dad.
But it does give it purpose.
You made a big impression on people.
That he did. It's been almost 3 years since we first told that story. Are the dominoes still dominoing? Let's find out.
Joining us now, pharmacist Brooke Walker. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So what became of Hody's fund after my dad's visit?
That fund is going strong, stronger than it's ever been, especially at the beginning of the year. People have to meet deductibles before their insurance kicks in. And so it's been such a blessing to me to be able to say, Hody's got it. So
why do you think his action had such a ripple effect?
I think people just were drawn to this farmer in this small town that was secretly paying for medication for years.
How has being a part of this changed you as a person?
This whole story has motivated me to tell my kids, I don't care how successful you are. I just want you to be kind. It's your character. It's how you treat people. I would just want you to love others.
That's a great message.
It's like what you always told us, but phrased better.
Yeah.
So thanks for embarrassing me as a parent and for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Bye.
I find stories like this inspiring because a lot of people, kids especially, feel like they're not in a position to really change the world. But we're all in a position to do one good deed. And you never know where that deed may lead. We'll see you next time.
And don't forget to stay kind.
Don't forget to stay kind. I never get tired of Steve and his kids. A little shade from Emmett there. Just when you say that's only phrased better. But you can tell that the three of them are so tight. And I like what they said about Hody. Hody. Richest man on earth. Maybe not financially, but with his heart.
He's building his riches for eternity, and that he has done. I also love that the little pharmacy was willing to work with this donation process, because they could have easily said, "Oh, we can't do that, sorry, sir," but they made a way, and they even put it in the computer system.
Yeah,
dominoing.
Kindness 101 does it again. Time now for Kindness 101 series, where Steve Hartman and his kids have found stories that are built around kindness and character and the people or animals who have mastered those qualities. Today's lesson is in mindfulness. All right, we revisit the story of two dogs in Maine who love fall for one simple reason. Things fall.
Good morning. This is Merrill.
And this is our lesson on mindfulness.
Emmett, care to define?
Sure. I'm simply defining mindfulness as just like living in the moment.
And why is that important?
So you don't worry so much about what might happen in the future?
Or because it helps you appreciate the little things in life.
Yes, to both of those. It's about living in the here and now instead of always worrying about what comes next. And of course, I know an expert in this field. Follow her lead this fall season, and you too will understand the joy of mindfulness.
In our increasingly outraged America, even the lowly leaf is subject to controversy. Folks upset about the raking and the bagging.
Leave the leaves! They're just going to make the soil richer.
Mad about the blowing and the scooping.
It's just noise and leaf blowers, and I can't handle it.
Even just vacationing to look at them angers some peeps.
I hope you stub your toe really hard.
But there is at least one place left in America where pure autumn joy can still be found. It appears annually in Jody Hartman's front yard in Freeport, Maine, after he piles up his leaves and gives his dog the green light. Stella the yellow lab, mindfulness personified.
She kind of likes the feeling of it, I think, the sound maybe.
I made you something.
It's just her little comfort zone.
Stella started doing this about 9 years ago. A few years later, their other dog, Mabel, caught the fever. Today, their videos are extremely popular on social media, which is why Jody goes to great lengths to make sure his leaf pile lasts as long as possible.
I was out in the yard with a hairdryer trying to dry them out. I have to cover them with my new roof. Just leaf maintenance all the time.
Do you have to tell the kids, no, these aren't for you, these are for the dog?
I have kept the kids out of the leaf pile before.
Hold on, guys, don't wreck it. You know, some people believe kids are more important than dogs.
Yeah, that's good to know. I'll try to remember that.
But until then, the pooches will remain the priority, because he says we all really need this.
I think in a world where there's so much noise, and especially on social media, it just doesn't get much more simple and wholesome than a dog just running and jumping in the leaves.
Especially, he says, when this happens.
Just her tail wagging outside the leaves is something about it.
That little periscope of hope popping out of the chaos. A reminder that joy is still out there if you just take the leap.
Joining us now, Jody Hartman, no relation. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great to be back with you.
Why do you think dogs in general are so good at living in the moment?
I think they're simplistic creatures, and we're meant to be more simplistic than we are. They don't ruminate on thoughts. They don't worry. They don't have social media.
Yeah, right.
For old people like my dad who spend too much time harping on their kids, do you have any suggestions for how to make life more mindful?
Have you tried Buddhism? No.
Emmett's being mindful right now.
You're interrupting my zen.
Hey, take your time. I'm all about it.
How do your dogs practice mindfulness in other seasons?
They're happy with a mud puddle. They're happy with a dead tree to chew on, a tennis ball to destroy. So there's always something to keep them entertained and mindful.
There's a lot that can be learned from your dogs and from you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, guys.
You know, we all do a lot of worrying about the past and the future. But this moment, this one right here, offers us an opportunity to just be. Something to be mindful of. Until we see you next time.
And until then, stay kind.
So good.
Steve and kids, you did it again. We all want to be Stella and Mabel. Don't you remember as a kid doing that?
I do remember.
Oh, I love it.
I remember I had a black lab named Lady that used to love jumping in the leaf pile as well.
I love it. But Steve's writing, just a wagging of the tail, periscope of hope. Spot on again, Steve.
I'm going to text Steve. I don't know if he's recovered from that jumping in the leaf pile himself, though. Kindness 101. It's one of our most favorite series around here. Steve Hartman and his children share stories built around kindness and character and the people who have mastered those qualities. Today's lesson, all about what it means to be neighborly. We're going to revisit the story of Bill Piles and Tammy Wyhe and how Bill's elaborate Halloween displays led to a special friendship.
Good morning. This is Merrill.
And this is our lesson on what it means to be neighborly.
And for a definition, we go to our neighbor across the room, Emmett.
Hi. I'm defining being neighborly as being kind and considerate to others in your community.
And what might a good neighbor do?
Loan you a cup of sugar.
Maybe watch your dog?
Good.
Tell you if your kids are having wild parties while you're away.
Yeah, you remember that one.
Okay.
But what do good neighbors do today specifically?
Give out candy.
That's right. Halloween is neighbors at their best, which is why I thought this would be a good time to revisit a story I did about a guy who loves sharing Halloween joy with his neighbors. And although it starts out a little scary, by the end, you'll see a shining example of what it means to be neighborly.
Make no bones about it. Bill Piles' front yard has bones all about it. But to him, the scariest thing out here is his mailbox, which every year curses him with hate mail.
So this is a side of Halloween decorations I never knew existed. There are people that complain about them?
Yes, worshiping the devil, you're going to hell, you're glorifying death, yeah.
Which is why he was already thinking about scaling back the display when the last note arrived.
I stopped dead in my tracks in the driveway looking at that letter.
Tammy Wyhe wrote that note.
Yeah.
Tammy has breast cancer, and to get her daily radiation treatments, she had to travel this country road in Oxford, Ohio, right past Bill's house.
Given her situation, it's understandable how this diorama of death could be unsettling. But the tone of her letter was more humorous than sternum.
Tammy wrote, "The Bone family and what they are up to is a highlight of my journey." She went on to explain how her last day of cancer treatment was coming up and how grateful she was for this daily diversion. And when Bill read that,
Tears came to my eyes, really touched my heart.
And right then, he knew what he had to do.
Another skeleton.
He worked through the night so that when that letter writer made her final trip past his house in the morning, this is what she saw. A whole skeleton crew cheering her on.
It was very touching to think that somebody would go to that effort for a stranger.
Former stranger.
Good seeing you again. We talk all the time now. You want to take a walk out and see these guys?
Yeah.
Bill says Tammy's letter and now friendship have completely negated all the hate mail, inspiring him to not only keep his display, but to grow it.
Things are going to stay up and they're going to stay active.
There's more letters to come.
There will be.
Good and bad.
Yeah.
Joining us now, Bill Piles. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Have you stayed in touch with Tammy?
Yes, we talk. We still talk at least once a week.
I assume your decorations are back up?
Yes, they are. We've got a record number of skeletons out there this year.
Like world record?
I don't know if it's a world record, but it's definitely a record for my area. We have almost 70, and we change the display on a weekly basis. They stay up all year long now.
How's the mail?
About 45 to 1 of love it, don't stop it.
That's got to feel good.
It feels really good when the neighbors come over, you're starting to change things up, and they're in a panic that you're taking things down.
Really?
Yes.
Generally speaking, what can people do to be better neighbors?
First off, talk to your neighbors. New person moves in, introduce yourself to them. And be that neighbor that says, hey, if you ever need anything, give me a call, and be the guy that shows up when they make that call.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much. I really appreciate you giving us the time.
Thanks for having me on here.
Neighbors aren't friends or family, but they do look out for us all the same. And it's important to appreciate them, especially when they hand out those giant candy bars.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see you next time.
And don't forget to stay kind.
Today's lesson is humility. Steve revisits a story of his own from 2020 to reflect on what he learned during what he says was a humbling afternoon on the hockey rink.
Good morning. I'm Emmett, and this is Meryl.
And this is our lesson on humility.
Our dad will be along in a minute.
He's actually our guest today.
Yeah, but first, over to my older brother George, who's filling in at the dictionary desk.
I'm defining humility as being free of arrogance, acknowledging your weaknesses, and not bragging that you're all that.
Right. And this is important because if you're not humble, you could end up like my dad did in this story. Pulled from our archive, filed under humility.
When a former Zamboni driver took to the ice a few years ago as an emergency replacement goaltender, he stopped 8 out of 10 shots and became an overnight sensation. Interviews and autographs, everyone celebrating the average Joe who appeared to be as good as an NHL goalie. But I wondered if maybe the opposite was true, that maybe NHL goalies are no better than the average Joe. To test my theory, I suited up the most average Joe I know, me. Prior to this, the only hockey position I ever played was hockey dad.
Got it?
My son Emmett was learning to play, and for my place in the stands, I almost immediately started questioning the goalie position. Is it really as hard as everyone makes it look? Or might a bale of hay perform just as well? So I took my curiosity to Springfield, Massachusetts, home of the minor league Springfield Thunderbirds. Chris Drieger was their goalie, and like everyone else in America, Chris was amazed that a Zamboni driver could do so well.
Can you believe it? I can, because I think goalieing is a lot easier than people think. Yeah.
Like, you can go out there and make some saves. Like, they're going to hit you sometimes.
Yeah, right, because you take up most of the net.
Yeah, you take up the net.
A goal opening is 24 square feet, but a person in pads takes up almost half that, leaving just a few pockets to even defend.
I predict I'm going to block 8 out of 10, just like the Zamboni driver. I drive a car. How different is that than a Zamboni?
And with that, it was time to put my lack of skills to the test. My opponent would be no slouch, a prime NHL prospect named Henrik Borgstrom.
You think you can score on me every time?
I highly think so, yeah. You can't even hold your stick right.
Game on, rink rat. So, is goaltending really that hard? Initial indications seem to be yes.
He's kind of slowish.
In fact, as our experiment progressed, and the taste of crow filled my senses,
That was close.
I started to believe that not only is this job hard,
I touched it.
it may be one of the most impossible in sports.
That's cheating.
In the end, he made 9 out of 10, and I made a promise that next time anything looks easy, I'm keeping my big goal shut.
Joining us now, one of America's best storytellers,
But one of its worst goalies.
Steve Hartman. Welcome to our show.
Your show?
What did this experience teach you?
It taught me that arrogance is the enemy of humility. I made an assumption about something that I knew very little about.
So earlier, I mentioned the importance of acknowledging your weaknesses. Can you list your weaknesses for the wonderful people at home, or do we not have enough time for that?
Oh, yeah, the list is kind of long. Eat too much sugar.
Stealing my Twizzlers.
I was going to say, yeah, sorry about that.
Water shoes are also a bucket item.
I borrowed your water shoes, okay. Okay, this is actually a good, serious question. How do you think you walk the line between acknowledging your weaknesses but not being down on yourself? You know what I mean?
I think the key is reframing your weaknesses as areas that you need to grow in. And that makes it so that they're not bad things, they're just potential to be good things.
That was good.
Yeah. So to sum up, humility helps you learn from your mistakes and makes you more enjoyable to be around. And finally, as for my hockey goalie dad, I think we can all agree this lesson was definitely a good save. We'll see you next time.
Until then, stay kind.
I love those Hartman so much. We had a special appearance from George, who clearly has a great sense of humor, talking about his dad.
I love Steve Hartman stories because they are lessons that I am now applying as a dad, you know, or giving me things to think about when these difficult conversations will come up.
Yeah, no, it's great. He really is one of America's greatest storytellers.
And it's the thing that I like about it, it's not just for the kids. The adults can learn something every time he does it.
Yeah, I feel bad about saying I could do the luge. I don't think I can.
That I could ice skate. No, I can't.